Hello, fempreneur friends. Welcome back to another episode of Business Energetics. We are doing a two-part episode situation on limiting beliefs. I talk about these a lot, but there are always so many more questions. And the more I learn, the more limiting beliefs come up. And there's just always more to talk about. So part one, right now, we're going to talk about how you find your limiting beliefs. This is a really common question. And then next week in part two, we're going to talk about how you uproot them and clear them, rewire them, however you want to say it. So we're going to get into what limiting beliefs are, how they show up and affect entrepreneurs, your business, your results. We're going to talk about how uncovering limiting beliefs is absolutely crucial for business growth and why, as well as your personal success. And then we're going to get really practical with strategies and even incorporating concepts from Psycho-Cybernetics and neural energetic wiring. So bringing in that neuroscience vibe today, let's get into it. Okay, so as we get into this, first and foremost, let's get specific with what a limiting belief actually is. So by definition, I looked it up. A limiting belief is a deeply held thought or perception, which is often unconscious, that restricts your ability to achieve goals, take action, or see opportunities. It acts as a mental barrier, typically based on past experiences, societal conditioning, or fear, and it holds you back from reaching your full potential, which is why it's called, of course, a limiting belief. It is something you believe about yourself, about the world, about situations, about your business, about money, about whatever is involved in the situation that is limiting you from your full potential. Limiting beliefs absolutely sabotage entrepreneurs more than probably anybody. They create so much self-doubt, so much fear of failure, and then that leads to inaction. So it's hindering your growth. It's keeping you from making decisions and it's keeping you from success. So, quick example, maybe a limiting belief that you have is I'm not experienced enough to charge the prices I want to charge, or I'm not experienced enough to charge premium prices. This belief can lead to undervaluing your work, your knowledge, your experience, your expertise, your wisdom, okay? It can lead to undervaluing your services, overworking, and missing out on higher paying clients who would really value you and your expertise and happily pay. So you could take less clients and make more money, right? And not only are you taking less clients, you're taking aligned clients that are really awesome and really respect you. So the experience is more positive for both you and the client. So limiting beliefs, again, these are subconscious. They're subconscious thoughts and perceptions that hold us back and keep us they're barricading us from achieving the life and the business and the goals and the results that we desire. So if you want to break free from these self-imposed limits, it's really important that you understand where they come from and how they deeply influence us. We don't need to get super deep into it, but we do want to just understand the main three things that limiting beliefs come from and how they're formed, because understanding and hearing this list from me right now can trigger a limiting belief that needs to be uprooted in you right now. So I'll breeze through this and then we'll kind of get into some more of the neuroscience of this. So number one, limiting beliefs come from past experiences. So many limiting beliefs are born from our personal history. So when we in the past have faced a failure or been rejected or been super embarrassed or gone through a really, really hard time, our mind creates protective mechanisms to prevent this pain from happening again in the future. So, for example, if you were publicly criticized for an idea you brought up in a meeting, you might develop the belief, my ideas are not good, and then hesitate to speak up again. So now you have a limiting belief that's keeping you from speaking up, that's keeping you from sharing, that's keeping you from expanding, that's keeping you from stepping into your power and bringing your ideas to the table. The second thing is societal conditioning. So many limiting beliefs come from societal conditioning. So this is basically the environment that we grew up in, societal norms in our area and the people and vibes we're around and cultural expectations. These all shape our beliefs. Okay, so messages that we take in over time about what is acceptable or what is possible for us based on our environment, society, our culture. These are all absorbed from a really young age. And over time, they become like super cemented into our subconscious minds, and they affect our confidence, and they are what we make our choices out of. So let's say, for instance, someone is raised in a family that valued stability over risk. This person might believe that starting their own business is just too dangerous. And so it's going to keep them from taking action, even though they have a really good idea and they feel super lit up by it. And it's actually like super in line with their purpose. The third really common thing that limiting beliefs form from is internalized failures and criticism. So receiving negative feedback or really harsh criticism from it could be like it was from outside and then you internalize it and now that's kind of like your internal dialogue, or just from the beginning you've been harsh on yourself. This kind of like harsh self-criticism is going to further cement these limiting beliefs. So a lot of the time we internalize judgments that come from the outside, right? And we interpret them as truth about what we're capable of, what we're worthy of. And so if you're constantly telling yourself things like, I always fail, or it never happens for me, it happens for other people, but it never actually works for me, it's like becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's going to affect every aspect of your life and work. Okay. So understanding those things, I'm sure as I was like going through those three things, at least some form of like beliefs you have that might not be supporting you kind of came to mind, or at least like you can kind of feel into it a little bit. So now that we've done that and kind of dug up a little bit of that dirt, let's get into one of my favorite topics, psycho-cybernetics, and how this ties into limiting beliefs. So the concept of psycho-cybernetics was developed by a guy named Dr. Maxwell Maltz. Okay, he wrote the book Psycho-Cybernetics. It's actually on the bed behind me because I was reading it last night. But he really talks about the power of self-image. So how you view yourself and its influence on every action we take. So according to him, our subconscious mind operates like a thermostat, setting limits based on how we view ourselves. So whatever the thermostat is set to, if it gets too hot, it's going to come back to the temperature it's set at. If it gets too cold, it's going to come back to the temperature the thermostat is set at. And your subconscious mind operates the same way. Whatever it's set at, like whatever your self-image is, how you view yourself, what you as at an identity level are set at. So like, I am poor. I am not good enough. I am not smart enough to run a business. Whatever it is, no matter what you do or what happens, you're going to always come back to what the thermostat is set at. So to change what you're getting, the results you're getting, you have to change what the self-image thermostat is set at. And that's what it's all about. It's like psycho-cybernetics is kind of like an internal blueprint. So like what you believe to be true about yourself, your capabilities, your value, your potential, like it's all true because you believe it. So if you carry this sort of like fucked up, distorted self-image that's rooted in like past failures, criticism, the beliefs of others, things people have always said about you or assumed about you that you now believe about yourself, it affects every single choice that you make. So when your subconscious views you as small, incapable, destined for struggle, it's going to make sure your actions align with that narrative, because 95% of what you do is coming from your subconscious mind. That's why that thermostat matters, and you're always going to come back to its set point. So the work is shifting the self-image or self-concept, you'll sometimes hear me call it. So when you consciously alter how you see yourself, and you can do this through the daily reprogramming ritual, that's why the techniques are in there, right? Visualization, a positive self-talk, et cetera, and then taking aligned action from that reprogramming place, your subconscious begins to accept a new identity and a new reality, which is going to, like, of course, create the pathway for success and growth and new results. Okay. Now I want to touch on, I know I'm nerding out a bit, but I want to touch on neuroenergetic wiring. Neuroenergetic wiring builds on the idea that our thoughts and beliefs create neural pathways in the brain. So when a belief is repeated, like, I'm not good enough, it strengthens the neural connections in the neural pathways in your subconscious brain. This is going to create a default mental pathway, and that default path is going to influence your behaviors and emotions. So it really like ties into the psycho-cybernetics piece of like your neural pathways are so strong, like it's just become who you are. Like this is your identity. But the really beautiful thing and like why I got into doing the rewiring and the work that I do with my private clients is that these pathways are not cemented. Like they're not set in stone. They can be pulled apart and rewired in a better way that's more supportive of you reaching your goals and like living the life you want to live. And the fact that your brain can rewire is called neuroplasticity. It's the fact that your brain can reprogram itself. So when you engage in these like very conscious, specific writing, wiring exercises like journaling or scripting, using more empowering language about yourself, both, verbally and mentally, talking to yourself, you're creating these vivid images and you're doing guided visualization about what you want and the kind of business you want. You are literally disrupting those old neural pathways, disrupting those old patterns, and beginning to replace them with new ones that support the thing you want. And you're beginning to see yourself that way, see yourself as that type of person. So, for example, through guided visualizations, you can repeatedly, visually see yourself confidently succeeding at a task that you used to fear. And you're creating new neural connections that are encouraging that behavior in your real life, because the subconscious mind can't tell the difference between reality and imagination. So as you're imagining yourself doing really well at like speaking on the stage or doing the podcast interview or getting the client on the client call and selling with confidence, by the time you actually get to doing the thing in real life, you've practiced it so much, like you formed a new neural pathway, and being good at that thing is just a part of your identity now. And when you couple that with really strategic self-talk and reframing exercises, and especially if you go all in and you work with someone on reprogramming this process gradually transforms your mindset and allows you to step into this new version of yourself and change the setting of your internal thermostat, right? So you're taking control of your internal narrative, and that's huge. That's how you begin to rewire your mind, how you reclaim your power, and you really start to like finally unlock the version of you that's thriving and having the things that you've been saying you want for so long. So some of the best things you can do in terms of techniques is it to find your limiting beliefs. So remember, first we need to be aware of what they are. Then next week we'll talk about uprooting them, like getting them out. So to find them, one of the things you can do is self-reflection. So asking things like, what are my biggest fears about my business? I just thought of one right now. It just came right away, right? Like when we ask ourselves these questions, it's like the answer will come. What thoughts hold me back from taking action? And like reflect on this. Like, when have you hesitated? When have you felt blocked? What was the underlying fear or the doubt that was causing that? Like, journal on it if you need to, just sit and think, talk it out with someone, whatever. But going back to psycho-cybernetics and like our self-image, which, is shaped by all these different things, past experiences, influences, whatever, it's causing our current behavior and decisions, how we view ourselves. So when we examine our past experiences and like, what am I afraid of? What's been holding me back? When was the last time I hesitated? When have I felt blocked? And you examine that, you are seeing what has shaped your self-image, and you can uncover your hidden limiting beliefs. So here's a personal example. I had several small experiences that just kind of stacked up a little bit, but then I had one really big experience that honestly traumatized the hell out of me and led to a limiting belief that I am not a good leader. I am just not a good leader, like period, point blank. That's the limiting belief that I formed to protect myself, that my subconscious mind formed to try to protect me from getting embarrassed or like fucking up or hurting people ever again, right? That belief has led to me avoiding hard conversations. It's led to me not feeling worthy of leading. It's led to me cowering back because I am in a place of leadership, like in my business on my team, in the world. And it's led to me stepping out of my power when people need me in it the most. So it's not taking me to the desired outcome that I want, which is to grow this brand, to be more successful, to have, more impact and more money, more et cetera, right? So do you see that? The other thing you want to look at is recognizing your patterns. So yes, self-reflect. What are you afraid of? What's holding you back? When have you had an experience that made you hesitate or feel fear in the past? Self-reflection is great. But the next one is recognizing patterns. So what results do you keep getting in your business? What results in your business are you currently getting? Take a look at what's your current reality in your business with money, with whatever. That is going to be your best clue for what you need to shift because of the law of attraction, right? Which, people attract experiences, people, and circumstances that match their own vibrational energy or like their state of being. So you don't get what you want, you get what you are. So what are you getting? If you're getting constant like being broke, constant like money coming in and then going away, it's never enough, then where is that in you? Where are you like not being enough or believing that you're not worthy of enough? Like there's something there. It's a mirror, right? So look at what you're getting to see what you're causing, how you're causing it, what cause is in you that's leading to the effect. Ultimately, how you see yourself affects how you handle everything. With a negative self-view, every single bump in the road, every single like life just happens, business shit hits the fan sometimes. Every single little bump in the road is going to feel like it's going to feel like a mountain instead of a molehill, okay? And it's going to feel like confirmation of how inadequate you are. And you're just going to be like, see, I'm not a good leader. I'm not cut out for this. Everyone always comes to get me. Everyone hates me. Money always goes away, whatever it is. And then you internalize what you view as your mistakes and you see them as evidence that you were never cut out for success. It's just not on the cards for you. Then this leads to a lack of resilience and it makes you less willing to try again. You're not willing to like pivot. You're not willing to keep going. You're not persistent and you need that grit in entrepreneurship and in life, right? So having a strong, empowered self-image is going to transform your setbacks into stepping stones and really set you up to be the resilient baddie with a positive, strong self-belief that you need to achieve that lasting success and continue to make a big impact through your business. Like the world needs you, right? So the biggest and most important work you can do is your self-concept, your self-identity work. So when we identify our limiting beliefs, we can get really clear on what they are, and then we can rewrite them. From there, you're reshaping your self-image, you're approaching challenges with more confidence, and you're really like becoming the more empowered version of yourself. It's literally standing in her power and handling problems and situations from there. And it's not just business, it's like transforming who you see in the mirror and everything else follows because your business is connected to you. Okay? If you are listening to this and you're just like, oh my God, I need help. I want to find my limiting beliefs. I know I have them, or I found some of them by listening to this episode and I don't want to fuck around. Like, I just want to get rid of these. You're ready to just like shatter these beliefs and get them out and step into like the clear-headed next level self with supportive beliefs. Please apply to work with me. Let's create the life and business that you know you're capable of. I am accepting new business coaching clients right now, and we bring the neural energetic wiring work and the psycho-cybernetics piece into it. So there's space for business and talking and strategizing and all of that, but also the energetics and the subconscious reprogramming. And really, like, this is the work that gets to the root because you're pulling out the cause, the limiting belief, and you're putting in something more supportive. So you're not having to force, you're not having to try so hard. You're just naturally acting different and exuding a different energy and attracting different results because you worked at the subconscious root. You worked on the problem from there. And that's where real change begins. So if you want to work with me, please go to my website. You can go to alicasasa.com/BE links and just click the work with me link. It'll send you to the right page. You can fill out the application and it'll ping me on my phone. I'll reach out to you myself. Nobody else does that for me. If you have a phone number and you're in the States, I will literally text you. If you're international, I will send you an email, and it is me and only me. I would love to talk to you. I'd love to support you, send you the coaching packages, let you know how things are going, what the prices look like, different options. There are also single sessions if you're not in a place to afford a whole 3 months with me. But let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. Next episode, we're going to get into how do you uproot the limiting beliefs and get them out. I'm going to help you with that. I will see you next week. Please subscribe to Business Energetics. Leave a positive review, good energy. Okay. Leave a review for something that has impacted you. Helps me keep going with these episodes and helps more amazing fempreneurs find this show. And yeah, thank you so much. I love you. Bye, friends.